Hi everyone and welcome to episode 2 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So this is a really big day for us. It's the first game in our league campaign, having gone through the first summer transfer window. So I've got some transfers to tell you about. Spoiler alert, they're pretty much non-contract players, so don't get attached to any of them. But we needed to fill up the squad somehow, and that's the best way to have done it. So yeah, exciting times. We've got a first game to play, a few transfers to figure out. I'll show you the tactic and formation and style of play that we're going for. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Truro City, everybody. I hope you're all well. So I have been through the summer transfer window. You can see club finances are now not in fantastic shape, to be honest. We've got a slight overspend on the wage budget, which I was kind of required not to do by the board. I hope that by the end of the season, that will have evened out by the fact that a few players will probably move in January, etc. There'll be a bit of a reshuffle here and there. But just at the moment, finances are not brilliant. It's the one kind of area that unfortunately I wasn't able to control as much as I'd have liked to have in this first summer window. We have played a load of fixtures in friendly terms that I'll show you in a second, and we've got some transfer stuff to show you as well. So it's going to be a busy old episode. And then first off in the league, we've got Walton Casuals, a team that I don't particularly know much about, but let's hope that we can get off to a really good start against them. So we got off to a slightly dull start, it must be said, against our own second 11 in terms of just a behind closed doors friendly match, a 0-0 draw. But that was a point before we could really get anybody in and sort of change up this squad a little bit. After that point, we were able to do so. And by the next game, we'd got everybody in that we've done in the transfer window so far. It was quite early doors that I went out, sorted my lineup out. And then we worked through the friendly matches. You can see that right the way up and through till Torquay, unfortunately, we couldn't quite replicate it. But 3-1 was the end trend scoreline. 3-1 to us, 3-1 to us, 1-3 to them, 3-1 to us, and then unfortunately Torquay 1-2. I wouldn't have liked them to have beaten us 3-1 as well, but it does upset that slight run of form, doesn't it? But August was all about the 3-1s. We played Exmouth, Cribs, Plymouth and Portland United. We got 3 wins out of 4. Plymouth and Torquay are the two sides that in local terms are pretty much head and shoulders above most, and so we were always going to struggle a little bit with those two, and we did. But other than that, we got some good match sharpness for everybody. Loads of the squad played pretty much all of these games. We rotated 11s at half time in each of the games, so most of them are reasonably fit leading into the first game of the season in the Southern Premier South. That's still a mouthful to get round, but there we go, against Walton Casuals. So, yeah, lots of good performances, some bags of goals. We do have a couple of absolute superstars so far, and it's Andrew Neil has got a couple of goals. Lewis Rooney's got a couple. Hayes and Harvey both on the score sheet, but both supplying other people as well. It's going to be a fun season, I hope, as long as we can get off to a good start. Here you can see that we still haven't got rid of anybody from our squad, so we've tried to build the squad rather than take out some players. So there's no outgoings, but we've made some inroads into balancing this squad out and getting some numbers in. You remember from last episode, the top 5 of these players we've already looked at, from Brett right the way down to Collins, and so it's from Sangster onwards that I've done the business for, and pretty much all of them are on non-contract setups within the club, other than Ollie Chamberlain, who we'll get to in a second, who came in. I think I might have made a little bit of an error with him, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But anyway, let's go through these players because there's quite a few to get through. Cameron Sangster comes in, and he's going to be a central midfield player for us. He's decent. There's some good mentals in there. Enough of the good physicals, but pace and acceleration for a 20-year-old is a bit underwhelming, but we don't need him to run a lot. We need him to provide, and that's what he's going to hopefully do for us. Technique, passing, vision, teamwork, work rate, determination, composure, all really good. So he's going to hold down that central midfield, hopefully, and really help us provide for other players. So Sangster comes in. Ryan George is the next on the list, and he's going to be a right-sided fullback for us, an option in the right-sided fullback. I've gone quite young. That's what the club wanted me to do, under 23s, I think it was, for the first team. So we've got Ryan George in, 18 years old. Not the finished article, even at this level, to be honest. There's some gaps around lack of determination, which is disappointing, but some good physicals at least, and a couple of good mental stats, and tackling is okay as well. So an option down on that right fullback area, and that's what I was kind of trying to find most of the time through these players, was just rotating options and backup and just filling out the squad a little bit. Excuse me. So the next one in, again, nothing to write home about, but Lucas Murray will come in and provide a little competition for places in that central defensive unit. Nothing huge here, but what you have to remember when looking at these numbers is if he's got a 10 in key areas, then I think we're doing pretty well. And so a 9 or a 10 is all right at this point. Anything above that, and we are really, on a home run on that particular player. But Murray comes in and provides backup at central defence. And in terms of goalkeeping, this guy has already caused a bit of an issue. 35 years of age, so he is just a fringe player, a sort of emergency backup. But we needed that second goalkeeper in the club. Of course, he did the typical Football Manager thing, which I missed out on. And I don't normally, but on this occasion I did. In his contract, he wanted me to improve the midfield, and I thought I'd done it. I've bought in Sangster. There's another player coming up as well that's going to play central midfield for us, and for whatever reason, Hutchings was not impressed by that and felt that I hadn't improved the midfield and started creating problems, and so now is already unhappy at the ability to strengthen the squad, even though, to be honest, I kind of thought I did it, but there we go. It's just one of those weirdities of Football Manager. Occasionally you don't get the timings right. Maybe because he came in on the same day as Sangster, he didn't feel that Sangster was part of the improvements, but Sangster is a key player for what I want to do. Anyway, he's unhappy, causing a bit of a problem. Will he stay? Will he go? I don't know, but we can't get attached to any of these players anyway, because they're all on non-contracts and they'll all be gone soon enough, as soon as somebody else comes in and decides to pay them a decent amount of money. Anyway, next one in, Harry Downing. He's going to be another central defensive option for me. I've got 4 central defenders now, which is what I wanted. Nothing to write home about here in terms of even his potential ability is only 3 stars. But I needed numbers in. He's got some good attributes about him. Again, a lack of pace. There's some real slow 20-year-olds out here, to be honest, in the world of Football Manager. But there we go. That's the level we're working at. The next one on the list is River Allen. And River Allen is one of those central midfield improvements that I thought I'd made. And I'm not sure why Hutchings didn't see it. But I like this one. I think he's good. He's going to play a sort of ball-winning midfield kind of role, Carolero type of role for us in that central midfield area rather than the holding midfielder area. We'll talk about the formation in a minute. But I think he's got all the attributes that we really, really need in key terms to be able to get a decent amount of performances from River Allen. So he comes into the club. And then the last one on the list, not sure about this guy. I actually went out and paid wages for this guy, and probably too much. That's where I went wrong. But you kind of get desperate enough to pay that sort of thing occasionally when you really need cover down that sort of wide areas. I didn't really have it. I needed it. This was as good as I could find, even though he's not very good. But at least he's come into the club and his hours for a couple of a season at least, and it will only be a one-season one that I suspect. But it was just numbers that I needed. So Callum Chambers comes in to play down that right-hand side. So all of that, of course, has meant that the wage budget has been absolutely decimated, and then some, which could cause us a problem. We've got some issues with the finances. Hopefully ticket sales and other bits will help balance that as we go through the season. Not ideal, but at least now we have a squad I think that we can work with. So now that we've got a squad to work with, what do we do with them? And to be honest, at this point, it might not seem the most inspired of choices, but we are going 4-2-3-1, and there are a couple of reasons why we're doing it. Primarily, we are due to get promotion this season. All the critics suggest that we are one of the favourites to go and have a look for promotion. So in this division, at this time, in this one season, I think we have to act like a bigwig in this league. So we're going to go 4-2-3-1. We're going to go controlled possession and keep the ball away from everybody else as much as we can, and work it into these attacking midfield areas to support Neil and hopefully get some chances from it. There was no point in me being too defensive, I didn't feel, at the start of this campaign, because we are one of the big sides in this division in theory. If you remember, Truro finished top of the table last season but didn't get promoted because the last few games of the season didn't happen because of COVID. And so we have history of being a top guy in this league, and it's time that we acted like it for this season. So we're going positive, controlled possession. I'm not going to go through all of this. There aren't a huge amount of instructions here. I want to keep it simple, but I will show you each of these pages in possession, in transition, and out of possession, just to show you what we're doing. But I think it will give us a good chance of controlling matches and hopefully eking out some chances for ourselves to then take the win from some of the lesser likes in the division, and see if we can get off to a very good start and then hold our ground at the top of the table. That's the intention. So no, it's not particularly inspired. It's not some weird, out of kilter, weird formation with lots of strange roles in it, but I think for now it will do pretty nicely. So we've got a fairly chilled out backline in terms of they're not going marauding high up the pitch particularly. We'll get some support down the left a bit, but other than that I want to be fairly defensively solid. We've got a central midfield too of, at the moment, Alan and Rooney, one of the Rooney brothers. What's his name? I think it's Dan. Is it Dan Rooney? It's Dan Rooney, yes, and Lewis Rooney's the other brother. So Alan and Rooney are in central midfield. We've got a Carolero shuffling from side to side and a Metzala shuffling up and down. So hopefully, and sort of out wide as well. That'll help this area because Hayes cuts in. Now, Hayes is an interesting one. I think he's one of the better players in the squad, to be honest. He's not a natural out on that left wing at all, but because of who we've got in that attacking midfield central role, I wanted to find a role for this guy. So we're going to put him out on the wide left. But he's not got the best long shots or anything, but he's got good passing. So we're using him out there to cut inside and thread some balls through to Neil. It might not work totally, but in pre-season it did a bit. So that's where we've found a spot for Hayes. It's not ideal, but it's as good as we've got. On the opposite side is Chamberlain. We've got another right-sided option on the bench, which is Thompson, and I suspect Thompson will play slightly more regularly as the season progresses. I'm not convinced totally about Chamberlain, but we're going to give him a start and see how we get on. Harvey is the star of our show. Now, in terms of what his actual playing position is, it says attacking midfield here. I know that certain people have suggested maybe he should be in the striking role. I feel he is a better option from the attacking midfield role. Doesn't really play on the wings, otherwise I might have put him out wide left and asked him to create from there. But this guy is basically as good as we've got in the club, so we're going to give him the central position, the attacking playmaker position, and most things hopefully will go through him as we try and get the chances up top. And this is going to be the goal scoring machine, I hope, in Andrew Neil. He started pre-season really well. He got 2 goals in the 6 games that we played there. Looked reasonably good doing it. Hopefully he can get off to a flying start. If he doesn't, we've got the likes of Lewis Rooney on the bench for today. Not got the greatest attributes in the world, but did score a goal or 2 in pre-season as well. So is looking as though he'll be a viable option off the bench. So that's how we're going to set up for this season. It's a reasonably familiar tactic now. We've got some working to do on that to just bring it up higher. The intensity I don't think is too bad, so that's okay. We've got a little bit of a pressing game going on, but not overtly so, just to wear them all out out. We need to make the ball do the work for us and keep the ball rather than go chasing them down, I hope. But that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be in the 4-2-3-1. We're fully set for the first game. Everybody you can see is fit and healthy and raring to go pretty much, which is really positive. So for the first game of this particular series at Truro City, we get Hammond in goal, we've got White at right back, Dixon at left back, Collins and Richards in central defence, Allen, Rooney and Harvey in central midfield, Chamberlain on the right, Hayes on the left and Neil up top with a bench of Murray, George, Riley Lowe, Sangster, Thompson, Yetton and Rooney. So let's get into the today's game and see what happens. So we're going to start off ultra positive in terms of team talks, fist pumping. That nearly went really wrong. Fist pumping. We're favourites for a reason. Go out there and make sure they're left in no doubt as to why. That's the plan. We've got to go and start well. We are at home, which is great. So we get to see our home ground for the first time. There's a couple of stands here, which is great. About 3,000 seater, 3,500 capacity, I think it was. So not too bad at all. Let's see if we can provide a good performance for the fans that have come in to watch this particular match and see if we can get off to a good start early on. So we're in an all white strip. There are custom strips being made as we speak and they'll be available to me in the next couple of days, so watch out for them in the next few episodes, and they are going to have a slight tweak to them. They're not just going to be a replica of what the real kits are. We've got a little bit of a tweak going there so to make them custom for this save, so that's going to be good fun for us to look at later. First chance for Hayden Smith for Walton came in though, a low drive straight at the goalkeeper and he held on to the ball though. So far we've had 60% of the possession, which is what we'd kind of be hoping for in the controlled possession style. We've had a couple of shots at goal but none on target. All the highlights have been coming from Walton though, but we clear our lines on that occasion, but kind of only partially. Back into midfield and Walton pick up the loose ball and then they try and go over the top, but Dixon was there to win the header, but it goes into no man's land and still the pressure keeps coming from Walton, unfortunately, and we are really struggling to get the ball and make a difference down their end of the pitch. And now we've got to do it from one goal behind. After 36 minutes, a simple cross came in from the right-hand side, and it was well worked out here. And it's Ackers on the right-hand side, just got a little bit of space to curl it round the defender. And Coombs in the 6-yard box pokes it home and the goalkeeper couldn't get to it. And we go 1-0 down. And it feels like that's what we've kind of deserved. It hasn't been good enough so far. We haven't carved out the chances, which has been very disappointing. Only 2 shots at goal and none on target. So into the dressing room we go, and straight away we're going to point the finger. We're not going to go full bore and throw water bottles around or anything. Going to point the finger. Come on, lads, show a bit of desire. That's what we want. There's no reason to change anybody just at the moment. We're going to go straight back out and then into the shouts, and then we're going to fire up the team and encourage them to do something with this second half. So a free kick in the goalkeeping area for us. We do win it in midfield, which is great. Allen takes over the ball over the top to Hayes on the through run, and he puts it past the goalkeeper for 1-1. Lovely move, a long clearance from the goalkeeper. We managed to battle for it in midfield. Eventually, River Allen, love that name, River Allen, he finds the ball in that sort of central midfield spot and dinks a lovely ball over the on-running Hayes off of that left wing. Remember, he's not really a left winger, but he plays more central, and once he's in that position, he could be really useful for us. But it's a Walton free kick on the edge of the box. The wall is set. Can Coombs get another goal here? And he doesn't. He puts it narrowly wide, just over the side of the bar. and that's pretty good for us. It leads to a goal kick from Hammond, who goes out wide right to Chamberlain, who wins the ball, takes the ball really well, and then runs into a bit of a problem and loses out to the defender, who then goes long for Walton, and they found themselves in lots of space down this left-hand side, and White goes in for the challenge at right fullback, doesn't get it, the cross comes in, and it's a good save by the goalkeeper. He parries it into the penalty box, and Coombs gets the ball again, and then we clear it, and we had a perfect chance to counter-attack, and it didn't seem to lead to much, unfortunately. But some good defensive work and quality goalkeeping there. 66 minutes gone. We're going to go into the tactics and substitutions here and just make a couple of changes just to see if we can get some fresh legs on. Chamberlain not having a good day. I didn't mean to click into him, but he's not, is he? 6.1 average rating. He's going to struggle if he plays that poorly. Harvey not quite doing it today, but we'll leave him on and hope that his yellow card doesn't cause us a problem. Dan Rooney, we're going to bring him out and we're going to bring Sangster in. A good young prospect, I would suggest, Sangster. And we're going to change the right fullback and bring Ryan George in. Now, are we at 5 substitutes at this level? Let's see. Andrew Neil not quite doing it. Let's bring Rooney in. No more substitutions. Only 3 at this level. Okay, that could be problematic, but that's the way we've been dealt, so we'll go with it. So back into the game, and as soon as we can, we're going to go back into the shouts, and we're going to demand more from them for the last sort of 20 minutes of the game. Let's see if we can work another bit of magic. Neil with a header back, but it's won in midfield by Walton again. But defensively, we hold firm, and Harvey picks up the loose ball again with that ball over the top. For this time, Neil on running, and he puts it narrowly wide of the post. So unfortunate, but another really good through ball. Those are the things that we're going to have to be working on, aren't we? Attacking those positions as those balls come in. 84 minutes gone. And what can we do here? 86 minutes now. Let's go into the team tactics. And we are just going to up the positivity into attacking, I think. In terms of possession, we're going to go slightly more direct, slightly higher tempo. Those are the changes I think that we're going to make. Just get back to that and then confirm the changes and go back into the game. And then one last shout, demand more for the last sort of 5 minutes, and that's it. Didn't even get a chance to do the shout. The time just flew by in those last few minutes. Is this a slightly disappointing start? I think it probably is, unfortunately. I think it probably is. A 1-1 draw at home in the first game against a side that apparently we were firm favourites to beat. There we are. So how do we begin to analyse a performance like this? Well, in terms of what the actual stats of the match suggest, 5 shots and 2 on target for us, 6 and 4 for them. They had a better XG than we did. Neither of us got to 1 as an XG rating. We didn't push as many corners. Our possession was decent, 51% dropped from the first half, which was 60 at one point. 81% passes complete. That's not too bad. Anything above 80% I'll take at this point. I think that's workable. We didn't quite carve out the quality chances, though, I would say. We got the 1 goal from Hayes to get us back into the match. Couldn't quite bring out another one. So let's go and dive deeper into the analysis. You can see the XG ratings, not as high as I'd like. In terms of our own chances created, I think we did okay, but a lot of our chances were kind of in very strange positions, weren't they? How are we missing these? Or off target, this one, off target from there. How on earth do you manage that? There's another one on the line as well. It was off target. And there's the goal from Hayes. We had another off target from Neil, and from the almost a penalty spot, we had a shot saved. We need to be able to create more chances and put more chances on target. I would suggest that was our biggest downfall today. Not enough shots on target. You can see that there's some weirdly placed ones here as well, isn't there? I think the graphic is slightly wrong on that maybe, but Okay, they created some of their own in the 6-yard box specifically. They had a number of shots at goal, which is positive for them. We defended okay, blocked a couple went wayward. In terms of our heat map, which I'm aware is down in an area where you can't see, it's sort of behind me as we're looking at it. We did okay though. Our shape might need to squeeze together a little bit. We might need to make it more solid. There's a few gaps defensively a little bit, I think. You can see in this one, perhaps you can see this better. This is Walton, and ours is slightly further apart in defensive positions. So we might need to address that. In terms of the focus attacks, we worked primarily down the left-hand side, which is where we get an attacking fullback as well as an attacking wide player. So that's kind of, I guess, why that's the case. Maybe with the control possession, should I say, we should be playing it more centrally and then working from the point where we get to the attacking midfield central area. Then we can spray it wide, maybe. Something to think about. Collins had a really good game. Chamberlain had a really poor game. I don't know whether I think we've done bad business with him, maybe. Let's go and check out the shots. 2 goals, 5 off target, but these are for both, so let's cut out the Walton ones. We got 1 goal, 3 goals on target for us. We had 1 shot saved, not quite good enough in that department. Let's go and check out the passing for today, though. We are starting as a controlled possession style team, so I'm hoping for better play in terms of our passing attributes. This one, what are you supposed to make of that? The completed passes. We've got intercepted passes. Now, these are the ones we possibly need to shorten the style of play maybe slightly. We were going sort of average lengthening passing today. Maybe we need to shorten that down a little bit to control the possession more. Only 1 blocked, which is fine. Unsuccessful passes again, possibly going too long. I think that's the first thing that will change. We'll shorten the passes down. And then out of play. Not too bad today. We sprayed it wide left primarily from this central midfield position and wasn't always finding its target. If we shorten the passing down though, that should negate some of that. That's all we're going to look at today though in terms of the analysis of the page, of the match should I say. We normally dive a little bit further into one other aspect, but not today, just because we've done so many things with transfers, etc. A 1-1 draw is disappointing though, I would suggest. It's not good enough. Is that what we do? Yeah, I think that is. We are going to tell them straight out what we expect of them. And today, that was not good enough. So as you would imagine, that result puts us in mid-table basically after the first game in about 9th position, I think. Yeah, 9th position. So yeah, could have done better, but we didn't. So we just got to move on from it. There's a couple of very, very minor knocks our players picked up as well. The likes of Andrew Neil, only out for a day or so, but still a couple of little niggles, which is a problem. So what do we come back for in the next episode? Well, I think what we're going to do is just give me a little bit of time to get used to this side, play through a few games, tweak the tactics a little bit, and by the time we come back, hopefully we'll have a clearer understanding of exactly how we're going to get on in this particular season. So we're going to come back for the Taunton match, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, as I say, it will give me some time and space with a few games to iron out some issues, but also, if you remember, we picked up about 5 players from Taunton on free transfers, so it only feels right that we then play them in the league and see how our players that we've taken from them and our current squad can do against them in terms of whatever they've done in the summer transfer market. So that's what we're going to come back for. It will give me a bit of space to work on the side a little bit, so I hope you'll come back and fit and find out what I've done with that and how we've tweaked it and reshaped it slightly. Shortening those passes is definitely the first thing though, but there you go. That's going to do it for today. 1-1 draw, disappointing start, but it was always going to be a little bit tricky just to get this side going. I think we will at some point, hopefully early-ish days, and then we'll go on a bit of a roll, I hope. But you'll have to join me next episode to find that out. So thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that like button for me on this particular episode. That will help me out in growing my channel. Go and check all of the links below. There's a link in there to the editor who created the database. There's the skin that I'm using, the link to that. There's all of my own links in the description below as well. So go and check all of those out. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.